Hello, hello. Welcome to your weekly readings. I am excited to see y'all. So, as soon as I tuned in, this week the channeled message was question your feelings. Now, stick with me here. When I say question your feelings, I don't mean question, are my feelings real? They're real. Are my feelings valid? They are valid. There's no question of that. What I mean is, ask what the feeling is showing you. Go deeper than, oh, I'm having this feeling. Sometimes we can have a feeling and be like, oh, this is true. I feel anxious about it. That means it's going to turn out bad. As just an example, right? Spirit is saying, question, as in sit down and have a conversation with that feeling. When have I had this feeling before? What do I associate this feeling with? In the past, when I have felt like this, what has occurred before or after or whatever? And start drawing these connections, because there is more information to be gleaned from the feeling that you are having. And that is the course to actually being able to use the feeling, to alter the feeling. If it is a feeling you're not enjoying, the answer is not to get away from it. The answer is to go deeper. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it's very High Priestess vibes. Not pulling any cards yet. We're going to do that in just a second. But that's what they're showing me, and that's the kind of impression that they're giving me. So, we're going to get into your weekly forecast. But first, next week, Saturday, October 25th, is the Cosmic Spotlight on the haunted houses in your chart. Spooky Yuki Yuki. I'll be doing lottery readings, live chart readings. So if you want to submit your information and a question about your chart, I'll be talking about the planets and houses that haunt you, that give you trouble. And they might be the ones you're thinking of, perhaps a Pluto or a Saturn, right? A 12th house and 8th house. But sometimes it could take you by surprise. So the way to sign up is in the description box below. I would love to see you there. The last one was a ton of fun, and I expect this one to be the same. And I have a special place in my heart for the spooky yuki, the haunted, as a Scorpio stellium myself, for those who know. Okay. Now, let's get into, woo, these cards are jumping. Spirit's ready too. Let's get into the daily forecast for this week. Starting with today, Spirit, Sunday. What do we need to know today for our highest good? Look how meditative. That's the first immediate thing that strikes me when I see these cards. Very meditative quality, very balanced quality. So, Two of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. Two of Pentacles is play. Play with your resources. Play with your skills. There can be a little bit of multitasking involved. How can I make two things work at the same time? And it's also a card of, you don't, especially paired with the Four of Swords, you don't need to be reaching for more or attempting to do more. You can do more with what you have, is what I'm hearing. And what it might require to know that is to meditate on it a little bit, to also take a break. These are also cards both very easeful. You know, Two of Pentacles, the Rider-Waite version, we see a little dude in a funny hat, and he's doing a little dance with his pentacles, right? He is not Seven of Pentacles. He's not even Eight of Pentacles, right? They're not like working hard and sweating it out. They're playing. They're playing, and they're seeing what happens when they play with their skills, with their ideas, with their fruitful opportunities, right? So move things around. Definitely don't be stagnant when it comes to your skills and ideas. There's more to be had there. And Spirit is singing like, hold on loosely right now, as long as you're not, gripping tight. Not necessary. So to go a little deeper with the Four of Swords, literally chill. Literally, to the extent that you can have, what we think of as a traditional Sunday of rest, of slowing down. That would highly, highly benefit you today. Some integration time, some getting your thoughts in order, maybe some journaling. Spirit is funny, they're saying Sunday reset. It's very popular right now, like a Sunday reset, and that could be very good for you. There's a bunch of things I just want to get in order and together and all lined up to make the rest of my week smoother, easier to play in. Okay? So I feel like consider your routines and your workflow and what helps create that flow. And Spirit is like, and you know what you can't create flow without? Ebb. Ebb. So that will contribute to your flow. Okay? Okay. So don't think of it as well, I hope you do have a delightful lazy Sunday, but don't even necessarily think of rest as that. We need ebb to create flow. So let's now look at Monday. Ooh, the cards get so fizzy. It's hard to explain. They get fizzy in my hand when it's time for them to be picked. Beautiful energy, especially for a Monday. Hey, good news. Page of Cups. Heart open. The Page of Cups is also a youthful person. So for some of you, this could be talking with a child, hearing from a child, or just a friend that has that youthful, very innocent, exuberant, heartfelt energy. I'm also feeling like an artist as I look at this card. That's what Spirit is showing me is like several different versions of artists. And artists tend to be like these deeply sensitive people. And that's what I feel is this person, and maybe this person is you, depending on, who is listening to this reading. Maybe it's somebody's kid and maybe you're the kid. So follow the through line of your own intuition in your own life. Follow what you know. But there is a message that is so nourishing and reassuring, connected to the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is self-sufficient. It's I did it myself. On top of already the success of I did it, and I've stacked up all of my coins, and everything that I'm doing is bearing fruit because of my patience. You see that they've drawn this person always. The Nine of Pentacles is drawn as more like a middle-aged person. This isn't like a 22-year-old, and no offense, no shade to 22-year-olds. What I mean is, whatever your chronological age, they are visually demonstrating that this person has collected wisdom and skill over years, over much, much time. Okay? So I feel like some of you get the reassurance or the promotion or the yes with that Page of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. Some of you, it's like hearing from somebody that I see your work, I love your work, I appreciate you. And Spirit is using appreciate in a punny way. The way that assets can appreciate is the other half of what they're talking about, okay? So really, really gorgeous Monday. Definitely trust yourself. Definitely, yes, this is really important. I hear trust yourself and be optimistic. People make fun of hope. And Helen Keller has a beautiful quote about hope that I can't remember, and I don't want to butcher it, so I'm not going to paraphrase it. But essentially, the meaning is that hope is not this flimsy thing. Hope is not something that people with no courage grasp onto. It's the opposite. Optimism, hope, looking forward is the mark of the kind of person who eventually experiences success, and the kind of self-appreciation and self-confidence that can only be born from taking action, failing, trying again, succeeding. You know what I'm saying? So, congratulate yourself. And if nobody else does it, yeah, do it yourself. Okay. Now let's see what Tuesday holds. The wavelength of the week is looking pretty nice so far. What do we have on Tuesday? Always and only for our highest good, whether it's a positive card or a negative card, always for our highest good. The flow continues. The flow continues. Gorgeous. 2 sixes. Sixes in tarot are literally about flow, movement. 6 of Cups. Reflection, reunion. I mean, this speaks to me very clearly of the message Spirit gave us at the beginning about considering your feelings and questioning your feelings, in the sense of, Spirit is giving me this sense of nostalgia and this sense of looking back and considering how this all came to be, what if, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And Spirit is saying, now bring in a Six of Swords attitude of, and what did I learn? What did I learn? There is a lot that you can glean on Tuesday from that. I also just feel a sense of opening. Spirit is using the word sextile. A sextile in astrology is a very friendly angle where it's like new opportunities and options open up all of a sudden, very kind of lucky. And that's what they're saying. So they're saying there's this energy available of something that maybe I thought was going to be hard, or something that was formerly kind of like backed up, suddenly, started flowing on Tuesday. So Spirit is saying right now, relax. They're saying that's part of why we have the Four of Swords on for today, is like, relax. There's more coming, and you don't need to have an iron grip or anything like that in order for things to be going well, or even for, this is important, an answer to come, a solution, like the finished outcome. You don't need to worry about that as much as you need to, quote unquote, worry about just maintaining your own ecosystem, having your nervous system regulated, having that ebb time that Spirit talked about, the Four of Swords, so that it can become a Six of Swords, right? So creating some space and not thinking that you have to have your hands always all over it in order for an answer to come. Does that make sense? So give yourself a little bit of a break. Tuesday really looks lovely. Something else about Six of Cups and Six of Swords. There could be a get-together, or even just something like a phone call with an old friend or a sibling, someone, even a past lover. This is not for everybody, but that is with the Six of Cups, and Spirit is saying it. So there could be some kind of communication with someone from the past. And again, there could be, for some people, this sense of closure. This sense of, oh, now I can see this in a different light, or our dynamic in a different light, is something that I'm hearing. And that helps me understand better why I was attracted, why it doesn't work, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Or why we are great friends and why it's going to work forever, whatever. There's going to be a sense of clarity and movement that comes in as a result of communication on Tuesday. That's what I feel. Really love to see it. Really, really nice energy so far. Let's keep it up. Please, Spirit, let's keep it up. Let's all have a good week. Ooh, okay. Now, Spirit, we want to look at Wednesday. Mid-week. How is the wave looking? Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing we have a Four of Swords and a Six of Swords to precede this. So, Spirit's so funny. They're saying, play dumb. I'll make that make sense. Five of Swords is bitchy. It's bitchy. It's immature. And when I say bitchy, I mean that in a couple different ways. One of the ways that I mean it is also that it's like, you got to do it behind my back. You got to do it out the side of your mouth. You got to tell my friends before you tell me. You got to whatever. Do you feel me? It's very childish behavior, and no offense and no shade to children, because a lot of children are great. But this immature behavior of, I can't either say it straight to your face, or even if I do say it to your face, I'm saying it passive aggressively. I'm trying to force you to pick up my cruel, crappy message rather than just say it straightforwardly. And Spirit is saying, for those of you for whom that resonates, play dumb. I'm the fool. What? What'd you say? Huh? I don't know what that means. I'm essentially hearing, like, force this person to say it. Force them to say it straight by playing dumb and like seriously not picking up hints. No more picking up hints, because the fact that this person is hinting and thinking you need to pick up hints, unless you are like 11, I'm not giving a pass on that. That needs to be like, one of us needs to be able to say, hey, can we have an adult conversation about this? Because what is happening? Do you know what I'm saying? So again, for those of you who maybe have a partner or a coworker or friend, family member that is behaving this way, and I say those things because it's the kind of energy that you can't necessarily easily step away from. So a new approach is required, right? If you want to continue to share space with this person, which is a choice all on its own, but whatever. So look at also how the Fool is walking away, walking in the other direction of this. I feel like some of you need to question whether you can actually step away from this, and how much you want to. Maybe that Six of Cups, Six of Swords conversation from the previous day even puts what happens afterward into like sharper relief. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I talked to this other person who I've loved before, or who knows me and love, and you know, says they love me the same way this person knows me and says they like me or love me or whatever it is. And this person so did not talk to me like that, you know? And so maybe that puts it into a sharper relief that allows you to kind of burn the baggage and leave that dynamic behind, even if that just means, okay, I can't quit this job. This is my coworker. Or, hey, I can't, you know, stop going to family gatherings because I don't want to, but this is still my sister or my brother or whatever. And they're still going to act like this. Well, my option when it comes to burning the baggage and detaching in a healthy and loving way from that is literally just to withdraw my energy from that. If you've never heard of gray rocking, it's a strategy to use when you've encountered a very narcissistic person, or just somebody that wants, you know, maybe just a garden variety energy vampire, right? For whatever reason, this person wants your energy, your time, your attention, even negative attention, you know, and that's what Spirit is saying. And that's, again, like, that's that mark of a childish or immature person, is if I have to get your attention by being a dick, that's what I'll do. You're giving me the attention. That's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? So gray rocking is to become as boring, as silent, as just uninteresting and unprovocable as possible to people like that. You know what I mean? So the vampire, you know, the energy vampire comes over to the family gathering or to your desk at work, and it's just monosyllabic answers. It's, oh, wow. Well, I got to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with the family member. They want to say this, that, and the other thing about like your hair color or your life choices or whatever it is. Like, oh, that's how you feel. Fascinating. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. You know, you have nothing to defend. You have a life to live. That is something that I hear. So for those of you for whom that version of this resonates, you don't have anything to defend. You can go on about your business. And if they want to say something, then they can say it in a straightforward and mature, grown-up way to you and have a conversation about it. Okay. Now, let's get into next Thursday. Spirit. How does the wave continue on Thursday? Hey, that's an improvement. Well, I mean, listen, it's a mixed bag. Wands, lots of fire, lots of energy output on Thursday, maybe a little too much. Something to watch out for. This is your yellow light. Beauty of looking at a forecast, just like a weather forecast. I've got my umbrella with me because they said it would rain. I'm not going to push myself too hard because the weird lady on the internet said I might burn out, overdo it. And actually, I'm literally hearing You could get in your own way by trying to take on too much. You know what I mean? We've been raised on the gospel of overdo it, the gospel of capitalism. Like, keep pushing. Push yourself harder and there will be more output. Not fucking necessarily. You know what I'm saying? And come back to what Spirit's saying. There's no flow without ebb. Let me ebb, bro. Do you even ebb, bro? Here's the question. Okay, so Thursday, Four of Wands, love to see it. Family, fun, a party, a homecoming, a hangout. You know what I mean? With the people who love me, see me, appreciate me. And there's also a sense of like congratulations. That's what I'm feeling. I'm like puffing up my chest as I say it. I feel like congratulations. And somebody, you know, we had the Nine of Pentacles earlier in the week. And I'm getting this similar feeling of, oh, look, this happened. You should be so proud. Spirit is also saying first steps, which is really sweet. That's very specific. Okay, so that is definitely not for everybody, but it's like, oh my God, all of the parenting that you've been doing, right? And all the work, and then like, oh my God, first steps, oh my God! It's a very exciting thing. And so Spirit is really clever in that they give me pictures of real things that are happening, but they are also metaphorical. So what would in your life, in your circumstance, be like first steps? Maybe you are congratulating yourself or a friend on like their child having that experience, but what are the first steps? You sold your first product, right? You had your first client. You had the really honest, difficult conversation instead of Five of Swordsing, and it was a first time for you and you are feeling like celebrated and seen. That kind of thing, right? So follow the through line of your own life. Four of Wands, regardless, is a very joyful, protected, supported, and held kind of feeling. And now the Ten of Wands. Now, Ten of Wands doesn't have to be a strictly negative card, particularly for people who are, you know, you're your own boss, or you're an entrepreneur, or you do more than one, you know, you have your own thing and you do a job, even more so, likely, if that is true, right? Which also, holler. So you're taking everything on, and it's not necessarily negative in that we can see this, the Wands suit in this deck is the story of Jason and the Argonauts and the search for the Golden Fleece, right? And the adventure that Jason and the Argonauts go on in their boat as they search for the Golden Fleece. So here in the Ten of Wands, we see you're really fucking close. You're really close. It's right there, but you may not see it because you're so piled up with stuff. So I think you need to ask yourself if you need to be doing all of that stuff. If some of that stuff can't be perhaps like the burden shared, or even minimized. If you can't share the burden, if it is like, no, this is all me and like it's my thing, then maybe you can't do all of those things and hit your goal in the time, the fashion that you want to. Can you reconsider? Can you minimize? It could do you some good. I just want to say, protect yourself from burnout. That's all. Because again, it's not strictly a negative card. Very close to the finish line, and you could get there more quickly, more pleasurably, if you wouldn't set yourself on fire in order to do it. Okay? Okay. Nice and energetic day, though. That is for sure. It will not be a day that is short of creativity or passion. Now let's look at Friday. Well, Spirit just spit 2 cards out of the deck onto the floor. So, beautiful. Congratulations. Happy Friday. It looks like one to me. Ace of Cups, Nine of Cups. It's really interesting. We had, you know, Fire Day, and now we have Water Day. All water, all cups. Oops, all cups. So Ace of Cups, a rush of emotion. Relief, forgiveness, falling in love, infatuation, even like swept off your feet. And generally speaking, the Ace of Cups, even when it comes with perhaps a flood of tears, it's a very positive card, even if it is a flood of tears. Even if it is, oh, I spoke to someone about something really difficult that happened to me. And there was a feeling of like being unzipped and just pouring out, just an ocean of tears, right? Is what Spirit is saying. That is movement. You need to know that anytime you do let yourself have a cry, when it shows up, to hold it in is just to hold the energy, right? And Friday, you have a gorgeous opportunity to let the energy go. So take it. Take the opportunity to feel your feelings. Definitely, you're gonna be feeling them. Friday is a very emotional day. So Ace of Cups into Nine of Cups. Something could accelerate more than you think. Something could balloon past what you even thought was possible. Nine of Cups is a wishes coming true card. It's a, yeah, I manifested that shit type of card. It's a, you had the Nine of Pentacles earlier in the week. That's, financial and tangible satisfaction and fruits of your labor, right? Nine of Cups is the joy and fulfillment that comes from satisfying yourself, that comes from, I'm so pleased with myself. Yeah, there could be money or there could be whatever, but more than anything, the primary feeling is Spirit is saying, I can't believe this is happening to me. I can't believe this is happening to me. Love of my life, my marriage overseen by Aphrodite herself, as depicted in this deck. Some people are falling in love. Some people are getting engaged. Some people are having a really important conversation within their relationship that opens it up to new possibilities, whether that's within yourself, whether that's within the relationship. Definitely be open. If I could give you guidance for Friday, I would say don't be closed off. Be very, very open and available for wishes to come true, for breakthroughs to come, for dams to break, and for new, beautiful opportunities, wishes to flow into your life. There could even be something like, Spirit is showing me the Ten of Wands follow from the previous day. Sometimes we require a breakdown to have a breakthrough. So breaking down and having a little cry about what maybe you were or were not able to accomplish, and then be able to go, you know what, I need to please myself. I have to take care of myself. So sometimes you need a little breakdown for a breakthrough, and that is okay, and that is life. So the less that we make that a big scary thing, that just happens, that just happens. It's okay. It comes and then it goes. Life is the wheel of fortune for a reason, right? Up and down, up and down. Try not to cling to the positive or the negative. Okay, finally, whoop. Well, they did it again. Finally, Saturday. Nine of Wands, King of Pentacles. Nine of Wands, you are right on the edge of something. You've had 3 nines in this reading. Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, Nine of Wands. Thankfully, no Nine of Swords. That's the one 9 that y'all can just leave out of the equation for us. Thank you very much. Nine of Wands is don't give up. Stay vigilant. You sometimes, Spirit's funny. They're like, for those of you who have ever exercised, the most effect, the most tangible, good Lord, I can't talk. When the exercise is the hardest is when you are creating the most change, right? So it's like the 20th sit up is creating more, is generating more change in your body, more breakdown, right? And thus the change in your body on the 20th crunch than the first crunch, right? So the point being, when things feel at their hardest and feel like, oh my God, I think I might be pushing this to failure. The way you can push doing sit-ups or push-ups or crunches or whatever to failure, right? It's like, I'm trembling. Spirit is like, you need to know that that moment when you're trembling and you're like, I don't know if I can take it, is you think of yourself as spiritually lifting weights, artistically lifting weights. You are doing incredible things for yourself when you decide not to give up, even though it's hard, if and only if you really care about it. Okay? So, Spirit is showing me the connection to this King of Pentacles in a couple ways. One way, straight up, is you are the King of Pentacles in this situation. What is the pile of gold that you are sitting on? What skill, wisdom, realm of productivity, because Pentacles, would you consider yourself like, I am a master of this? Everybody around me can see that I'm the best at fill in the blank, or that I'm really excellent at fill in the blank. It could be cooking, whatever. If you are really passionate about being in the world as a king of your skill. What do I mean by that? Nothing to do with sex and gender. What I mean by a king is your name is on the building, the letterhead, the book, the website, whatever. You are known as this. Whereas, for example, the queens aren't as worried about, does everybody else know that I do this, right? They're doing their own thing. But you, as the King of Pentacles in this context, want people to know you for the comic book that you're making or whatever. You have what it takes. So don't give up, okay? So for those of you who find yourself in that position, that's what I'm hearing. For some of you, this Nine of Wands is related to a King of Pentacles in your life. Like this is your husband or your boss or your father. You know what I mean? Somebody that you look up to is what I'm hearing. And there's a sense of don't give up. There's a sense of persist. Again, if and only if it is worth it to you, if it is healthy. There's gold in them there hills. Is really what I'm hearing. There's gold in them there hills. So don't give up. Don't stop. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. That despite the fact that, yes, you are not giving up, that doesn't mean that you are pushing forward, disregarding how you feel or your physical body or any of that, right? I'm only able to not give up and to continue if I am stopping to rest, to take care of myself, to check in with myself, etc. And the King of Pentacles knows this very well as the king of the body, right? The king of the physical. And a King of Pentacles, you don't see this man weathered, skinny, exhausted from all the work that he's done. No, that man has taken time to be like, I got to take care of this body because without this body, I can't do any of the things I want to do. So I have to eat right. I have to rest right. I have to hydrate right. I never forget the basics. So have you mastered the basics? And that is something else that I'm hearing is if you are feeling exhausted, don't give up, and you may need to return to the basics and remaster the basics. Sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves or out to sea is something that I'm hearing, away from ourselves. So back to basics. How are my routines? Am I taking care of myself the way a King of Pentacles would? If a King of Pentacles walked into my life and looked at it to say, what would make this the most fruitful, enjoyable, steady, abundant life, what would he recommend? So step into the King of Pentacles shoes. Ask his advice. If that is somebody in your life that you think of as Literally, when I think about this person, when I go to their house or when I'm in their presence, I see how well they enjoy their life and how lovingly they have cultivated it, is something that I'm hearing. So for some of you, it's like when you walk into your father's house, there are rich touches everywhere. And that's something that I'm hearing. And again, that could be the same for, oh, this boss that I have, or this friend that I have who has a lot of money or a really successful business, and I look up to them, right? Okay. So that is your daily forecast. Now, let's get into the elemental forecast. Let's get into a spread for each of the signs by their element. And we will start with the earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn people. Want to know, Spirit, what is the overarching energy for Capricorn people this week? Gorgeous. Actually, let me keep you over here. What about their money? What about jobs, opportunities, skills? Body, health, the tangible things. Whoop, there it is. Not whoop, there it is. Come on. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful spread so far. Okay. What about the realm of the mind? What about the realm of words, messages? Spirit, what do Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn people need to know this week? Okay. What about the realm of the heart? Relationships, feelings. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn people. What is sticking out in the realm of emotions for them? Got you. Okay. Make sure you can see everybody at the party. Okay, and finally, Spirit, what about their fire? Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn people. What about their passion? What's firing or lighting up the earth signs? Got it. A decision to make about where you're going and how you're going to get there. And not everybody is going to like it, period. That's the straightforward thing that I hear right away, is not everybody is going to like or appreciate where you've decided that you need to go, because it's a different direction. That's something that I feel for sure, is you are taking off in a new direction, going towards something that is unknown. That's what these cards have in common. I'm looking at it. I'm considering. Two of Wands is like, I'm just considering. I'm looking. I've got one thing well planted behind me. I grew it. I cultivated it. It stands on its own. One skill set, one chapter of your life, one relationship, right? Whatever. It's going to be different for the different earth signs listening to this. But for each of you, it's time to choose a direction. The Chariot says, you have the reins. Pull in the direction that you want to go. Pick your direction, understanding, Spirit is bringing to mind a quote from one of the Stoics. I think it might be Kant, and forgive me, I might be getting that wrong. Sorry, Kant, forgive me. But the gist of the quote is, get married or don't get married. Like, get married, you'll regret it. Don't get married, you'll regret it. Travel, you'll regret it. Don't travel, you'll regret it. Whatever we do, right? When we choose one path, we cut off the path to another. And so we are always going to have to deal with a little bit of like disappointment and what if of like, well, I picked this, and that means necessarily that I didn't pick that. A yes to this is a no to that, right? At least for now. right? In this chapter of your life, when you feel like exploring, when you feel like starting something new. Ace of Pentacles, tons of potential in the skill, the idea. It's a seed. It requires tending, cultivation, right? What I think is interesting is we see the woman here in the Two of Wands holding the walking stick, and right over here in the Eight of Cups, we see this figure and she's holding a walking stick. We could say that they snuck a wand into the Eight of Cups, right? Grabbing her courage, her passion, her inspiration, her wand, and leaving behind a comfort zone, which is very much represented by the Eight of Cups. You know, I took the time to find all these cups and to fill them, and I set them up exactly the way that I wanted to. Nobody told me that they would grow stagnant one day, right? But when something is unmoved and untouched and doesn't have room to move around, it does grow stagnant. So what part of your life or what habit or approach has grown stagnant for you? You can trust that if there's no life in it, there's no joy or passion in it, that it's no longer for you. Because the joy and the passion and the excitement that we get from things is an indicator of the fact that it is alive for us, that there is a lesson, that there is an experience in it for us that is essential to us, right? So where do you want to go? And are you willing to deal with the disappointments and the misunderstandings that you and others may have as you do move on and expand? Very much indicated by all of these cards. See, some of you are still pondering it, but some of you are revving the engine. Some of you are already deciding, I'm willing to deal with the opposition and the trouble and the problems that come up from making this choice, because I'd rather have something new and fresh and wide open like the source of all this water than these finite drops that I know already are not for me. So if I know already it's not for me, then it must be out there, necessarily, right? Something to consider. I see moving on and moving up. That's what Spirit is saying. So I want you to have faith, courage, and excitement that there is something to look forward to as you choose to go in a bold new direction that is kind of scary, that brings up your fears and other people's, again, fears or misunderstandings. But this is your journey. So, Earth signs, I hope that you will take it. Looks pretty good to me. All right. Now, let's talk to the air signs. Let's talk to Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius people. Ooh, air dominant people, Sun, Moon, Rising, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What do air people need to know this week, Spirit? What is the overarching theme? Beautiful. Beautiful. It's graduation. It's a celebration, bitches. Man, remember when Dave Chappelle was funny? What a tragedy. Anyway. Okay. Air signs, what about their money? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, in the realm of ideas, skills, productivity. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay? And what about their own realm, Spirit? The realm of air, the realm of intellect, communications, words. How is the climate of the mind of air signs? Okay? And what about their emotions? Feelings, relationships. Spirit, what do you want them to know for their highest good? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, in the realm of emotions. Another 7. Okay. Okay. Adjustments. Adjustments. And finally, what about their fire, their spark, Spirit? What is lighting them up or firing them up? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, dominant people. Okay, debating. It's very air sign of you. So for those of you who are doing that, as long as you're having fun, okay? If it becomes a waste of your energy, I would say you might want to put it down. I feel a lot of potential in this spread. So the world, first of all, air signs, in some form or fashion, you are completing a cycle. You are graduating from something, moving on from something, moving up a grade is something Spirit is saying as I'm looking at this picture of these women in an art class, right? So some type of collaboration is also what I'm feeling for some of you. Make sure that you don't have too many ideas going on at once. For some of you, that's what I feel as I look at the Five of Wands and that Seven of Cups next to each other. And then when I even align that with the Seven of Swords of like, take what you can and don't think that you can, you can't fight all the battles, right? And maybe you're trying to. So for those of you for whom that resonates, consider what you are fighting for and where your energy is best used. Because again, the world says you are mighty powerful this week. You have the opportunity to get a really zoomed out perspective. And I feel that for some of you, it's a zoomed out perspective of how I'm using my time, where I'm putting my focus, whether I'm getting, am I getting energy back from the energy that I'm putting in, which is something really important. Okay. So Spirit is saying for some of you, you either have learned, right? Because you're already watching this reading. You either have learned or you are learning something about the way that you work best. Three of Pentacles is putting our heads together. People with different perspectives and skill sets coming together to create something together that couldn't be created without all three of the perspectives and people present, right? And I see that as extremely positive. I see progress. I see you're building something with like a nice foundation. And my one qualm or my one piece of advice or warning would be, are you trying to do too many things at once? Because Three of Pentacles is nice and slow and steady, but then you've got Five of Wands, Seven of Cups, Seven of Swords. Fives and sevens are cards of adjustment, because you don't put 5 or 7 legs on a table, right? You take one away or you add one, but you don't have this one random ass leg sticking out, right? So these are cards of what might I need to add or remove to make things work. And I'm going to say in this case, it looks like remove. What do I need to remove? There's too many options on the table. There's too many dreams in the sky. There's too many hands in the pot is something that I'm hearing. It's like too many cooks in the kitchen. So are there too many cooks in the kitchen? To get a clear perspective, are there too many ideas being thrown around to make enough progress on one? I feel like you get a zoomed out perspective this week and you could really come to a great idea of this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm not doing. I've picked 2 of the cups off of this beautiful cloud mantle and I'm letting the other 5 remain, at least for now, as a dream. This is what I will work on, okay? Take one away or add one. Take one away. That's what I feel. You can do more with what you have and maybe even better with dropping a couple. But you definitely don't need to add more. Does that make sense, air signs? I'm also feeling this, okay? One of the ways that they're showing this to me is somebody who is doing too many, like, jobs, too many different services. This world card says actually, like, you can graduate from doing all the things to doing less better, okay? Okay. I hope that that is helpful, air signs. Now, let's talk to the water signs. Let's talk to Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Ooh, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, rising and dominant people. The watery folks, Spirit, what do they need to know for their highest good? What is the overarching theme of this week? Okay. And give me a little more, Spirit. Give me a little more to go on with this Tower. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. A Tower moment is inevitably a moment where we have to make a judgment. Okay? Let's keep going and then we'll get into it. Spirit, for the water signs. What do they need to know about their money, jobs, skill set, projects, for their highest good this week? Always and only for their highest good. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What do they need to know for their highest good? When it comes to the mind, the mental climate, Spirit. The realm of thoughts and words and communications. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Holding back. Holding back isn't doing anybody any good. That doesn't suit you anyway, water signs. Like, you were literally not built to hold back. You're built to flow. So that could be your issue. Let's hope. Okay, I'm going to pull a couple more. Let's see. Spirit, the realm of emotions. The realm of feelings, relationships. For Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces people. What do they need to know, Spirit, for their highest good when it comes to feelings? Hey, see? It's not all bad at all. You're built to flow. You're also built to share, is literally what Spirit just said. You're built to flow and you're built to share. Neither of these people is looking like ready and raring to share. Okay, one more. For Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, Spirit, what is giving them fire? What is lighting them up? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, Spirit, what is their spark doing this month? Okay. Okay. Got a lot of cards here. So, the Tower and Judgment. That looks like a very inconvenient wake-up call to me. So, we can list some classical meanings of the Tower. Tower is change that we were not expecting, knocking over something that we assumed was forever. So for some people, this can look like something like layoffs, right? Or like getting fired, right? Whatever, either way. Like, hey, wait, I was relying on this. I thought this was going to last forever. For some people, this can be like, and really what I'm hearing is somebody around you, their relationship dissolves. And like it shakes you to your core because maybe you thought that it was one way when it was really not built on a steady foundation, which the Tower can only take out those things that are not meant to last, right? Not meant to be in your life anymore for whatever reason, even if it sucks, right? And it mostly does, because you've heard me say it before, nobody likes change but a wet baby, right? Even if it's a positive change in the end, even if it brings us back to life in the end, the ego death that the Tower creates is tough to survive, quote unquote, right? We survive it physically, but maybe it shakes the way that we see ourselves. If something about the way that you see your life or yourself gets shaken up, take it as the wake-up call, the sign from God, right? Very clearly depicted in the Judgment card. In the classical Rider-Waite version, we see Archangel Gabriel blowing the horn, right? Waking the dead. So there may be a way in which you have been playing small maybe, sleepwalking through life a little bit, zombieing through life a little bit, holding tight to your resources and your ideas when really they want to flow and they want to be out in the world. And that is one of the ways that I'm hearing it, water signs. So for those of you who resonate with, I do have something that I want to make or do or share, but like, I don't know if I can, or I don't know what will the world think, etc. You might be getting a wake-up call. Some of you may even get a wake-up call around the fact that life is fragile and short. Spirit is saying something which is very intense, and this is not for everybody, okay? And like I said, they're very clever, and sometimes they'll give me a metaphor that is true for somebody, but is a metaphor for everyone else. And I'm hearing near-death experience, the Tower and the Judgment card together, right? So something like getting into a car accident and you're totally unharmed, but your car was totaled and your life flashed before your eyes. And you may come to some realizations about ways and places in which you've been holding back. For some of you, it could be something like, and this is so like, so Spirit is saying, I just turned 41, right? Yay! This week I turned 41. And so Spirit was reminding me of that and saying for some people, that's like the midlife crisis. So this tower could be something, this is what they said, is like somebody having a birthday. And they're like, oh my God, I'm 30, or oh my God, I'm 40 or 50 or whatever it is. And blank, like I haven't done this, or I really want that, and I never tried it, and da 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 da. This is your wake-up call. Life is short. Life is fragile. Life is meant for living, not doing right, not being irreproachable or impeccable or perfect, or never hurting anybody's feelings or never getting in anybody's way. That's what they're telling me to tell you, okay? Beautifully. I mean, how about this? How about the Tower being kind of aligned with these and Judgment being kind of aligned with these over here? Kind of an interesting, like, mirrors, right? So, wake up. You are surrounded by a world that would envelop you and welcome you if you will be yourself. You've heard the phrase that, like, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. If you are holding in everything and trying to be all things to all people, as an example, or whatever, drop it. Drop it. It's unsustainable anyway. Whether you take this wake-up call for what it is, or whether you get the wake-up call and then, try to close the coffin lid, crawl back in and be like, 5 more minutes, God. I'm not ready to become who I really am. I'm not ready to let myself be loved. I'm not ready to stand up for myself or what I believe in, or go for what I want, regardless of whether I might get hurt on the way. It's available to you. Go for what you want. Do not hold back. Do not hold in. All that does is create a future Tower moment, okay? So you might as well take the annoying wake-up call for what it is and say, well, God woke me up, 3 hours early so that I could really get in my own bag before I went and connected with the rest of the world. And I use that as a metaphor. God is waking you up now, right? Universe is waking you up now. Spirit is waking you up now so that you can embrace and enjoy, okay? And get shaken out of this false hypnotized idea that you are stuck. Okay? Okay. When we tell ourselves that we're stuck, a lot of times Spirit has to create a tower moment because, like, we refuse to move. You know what I'm saying? So if it happens to you, no blame, no shame, no judgment. It happens to literally the best of us. Okay? Okay. I hope that that is helpful, water signs. And now, finally, let's talk to the fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius people. Ooh, what's showing up for them this week, Spirit? What do they need to know for their highest good? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. What is the overarching theme or archetype that it serves them to be aware of? Okay? Fire signs and the Hanged One. There can be some frustration about that. Not delays, not hang out, not this. Aries, Leo, and Sag. When it comes to their money, spirit, career, jobs, projects, opportunities, funds, spirit. Hey. Okay, take it easy. What do those two cards say to you put together already? Take it easy. Take it easy. All right, what about the mental realm, spirit? The realm of the mind, the climate. In the minds of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius people. Okay. And how about the realm of emotions? Feelings, relationships, the fire signs. What do the fire signs need to know about their cups, spirit? What is the emotional climate? Love to see. And finally, their own element. What about their wands? How is their spark looking? How big is that spark and how is it being directed, spirit? How are the fire signs being fired up? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, so what you need to know is that there is a minor delay. The Hanged One this week says, chill, hang out. You actually don't need to do too much. Okay? The Hanged One also says, Spirit is saying, it's out of my hands. And what they mean by that is, what I'm hearing is, I put the idea out into the world, or, I submitted the resume, I made the call, I swiped right, whatever. They're showing me all these different things, right? And now I sit back and I relax. And you notice that the Hanged One is always depicted in a very peaceful state. They're not thrashing, they're not screaming, their brow isn't furrowed, for goodness sake, right? They understand that they're in the cocoon and they're in the process of becoming a butterfly. So, if you're in the cocoon this week, let that be and don't be too urgent about popping out. Take it easy. You're making some magic. You might be doing some stuff behind the scenes that could be very impressive. That's what I'm hearing, okay? So, Two of Pentacles. Play with ideas. Move what you have around as opposed to going out and looking for more or anything like that. It's very much you have what you need, and if you work with it, it can become infinite. So move it around, play with it. You notice the Hanged One has their hands hidden behind their back. They're playing. They're doing something that we can't see. So you don't need to go anywhere. What I mean by that is, you don't need to, if you are feeling I'm delayed, I'm stuck, I'm held up where I am, you don't need to go away from there in order to have the joy, the acknowledgement, and celebration, okay? So chill. It's just 1 week. For this week, chill and let things develop. Do your little part. Remember that you're a co-creator, right? You're not in charge of everything, and that's a good thing. You are not the one pulling every single string. So pull your string and don't worry about anybody else's. And when it's time for this to come loose and for you to be released out into the world, it will only be because you've had some kind of epiphany inside of the delay. Some kind of realization from having your world turned upside down. Perhaps you have some strong water placements and you might be experiencing that Tower and Judgment energy as well this week. And so you might have a little bit like, I am thrown for a fucking loop. That thing that just happened threw me for a loop. But in that loop, right, in that upside downness, in that change of perspective, I can have a larger perspective, right? Maybe it didn't happen the way I wanted it to, but damn, I did get something out of it. And I've learned, Seven of Swords, I can only carry what I can carry. Something that I'm hearing, and this is very specific, is that if you feel like you have to be watching someone like a hawk, like national security style, that is something to let go. Whether that is, I'm looking at what this person is doing online, whatever, we'll let that go. It's unnecessary and it's not going to help. That's something else that I feel. Okay, very specific, but that's for somebody because Spirit was like, you gotta say it, you gotta say it. So, Seven of Swords, couple things here. If you need to make a retreat, then make the retreat. If you are like, I'm not in this anymore, I don't want to fight for this, I'm not in it, I want to go somewhere else, I want to be done, I surrender, surrender. The Hanged One and the Seven of Swords, if I put them in a Venn diagram next to each other, that would be one of the words. I surrender. I can't carry all this, so I'm taking what I can, I'm leaving the rest, and I'm moving away from the battle. I need to take care of me, is something that I'm hearing. So perhaps some of you have been carrying things for somebody else. Carrying the weight, carrying, like, they don't care about whether they're, completing their assignments or getting to work on time or making any progress on their project, but I care. You can't care for people, right? As in, well, you can care for people. What I mean is, you can't care for people. I can't care more about your project or sobriety or relationship or whatever than you do, right? Or if I do, then that's a sign that I need to reflect on something going on with me that I'm not paying attention to in me and I'm looking at you. Either way, drop any sense of like, I have to do this so this person can be okay or this whatever. Like, you need to take care of you. And that brings us to this side of the spread. The Nine of Cups and the Six of Wands. These are both very individualistic cards. These are very me, myself, and I. How am I doing? What do I want? I'm enjoying. I'm being applauded. Me. I'm shining, right? Big fire sign energy. Nine of Cups is, hell yeah, I manifested that shit. Look at what I did. I'm so pleased with myself. It's this feeling of being so very pleased with ourselves. And then there's this Six of Wands. Hail the conquering hero and heroine. Riding in on the white horse, people applauding, people seeing and appreciating you for your skills and your talents. And Spirit is saying you'll get more of that when you're not weighing yourself down with other people's business. So open yourself up to that. Nine of Cups is please yourself. Make sure that you are, as the cliche goes, filling your own cups. Your own cups should be overflowing, and that is your contribution to others, not, oh, here, I have a couple drops, let me give you those. You feel me? Because that's what I'm hearing. Let go of holding the burden for other people. Surrender that shit. Please yourself. Show up and show out. And this is something that I'm hearing, fire signs, is like, for those of you who identify with the fact that maybe you've been overburdened or like spending a bunch of time on other people's stuff or just basically not in a position to care for yourself and prioritize yourself the way you've been needing to, this is 100% a week to do that. And if you will seize that right now and get started on it right now, ideally you hear this video pretty early in the week and go, okay, how can I refocus on myself? And this sounds funny, but this is what they're saying with the Six of Wands. It's like, let me take the time to take care of myself in the physical external way, so that me taking the time to 10 minutes to do something with my hair or my clothes or my whatever it is for you, right? So that when I'm walking around in the world or even just walking around in my apartment or my house or whatever, I feel good. I'm holding my head high. I'm enjoying and appreciating myself. That's very important. So enjoy and bask in what makes you feel good. What makes you feel good about yourself is what Spirit is saying. So for some of you, that is like showing off your skills or your talents or your passion, or doing your thing extremely well. So do it. And if anything gets in your way of doing it, surrender that shit and embrace enjoying being who you are. Okay? Okay. Good deal. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. It is always a pleasure. Remember, Cosmic Spotlight, the haunted houses in your chart, is next week. I'm so excited for it. Sign up in the description box below. I'd love to see you there. Thank you for being here, y'all, and I will see you next time.